Okay, we're back. Hi.
Oh, wait, wow. Hell of
Sorry
a
about
wait.
yeah, that was weird, but I think I got kicked out of the stream and
Hmm.
not able to get back in because I wasn't the host, but now we are back. I am the host
Yeah.
and all is right in the world. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, so I will try to pick up where we left off. What was the last thing you heard me say?
We were talking about the imps and green arrow slash lantern imp.
Right. Yeah, so you get to see. I shared a screenshot of a panel in the comics
Hmm.
chat earlier. There was Flash Imp saying, "And you, Green Lantern and Green Arrow, pick a lane already." As the Green Imp goes, "Why choose? They're both so awesome," and I feel that
Yeah.
I love them both.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I can't deny they're both awesome. Right, so they called this meeting to order. Um, And there's a bunch of dad jokes because they're fifth dimensional imps. They're full of dad jokes. Uh, but this is when Mr. Mixpillic begins to call to order why they're here. And then Batmite pops in with which hero is coolest and why, dear friends, is it Batman? And that leads to opens up the can of worms to a whole big brouhaha, and all the imps start fighting. And it's one giant battle until they trash the room and they decide, well, that was a great meeting. Let's go home. And then Mr. Mixpidlick says, no, we are not over. There's danger. We are all in deadly danger. And as Batman goes, from what? That's when Green Imp gets hit in the chest with a yellow arrow and seemingly dies. And the other imps are like, what? We can't die, can we? And then we turn to see Imp dressed like Sinestro, an imp dressed like Cheetah, and an imp dressed like Solomon Grundy. And then there's another imp like Lobo and like Gorilla Grodd and like the Joker. And this is the danger that Mr. Mixpidlick was trying to convey. So he opens a portal. Him and Batmite go through to the a different dimension, most likely the third dimension, to find their heroes and try and save the day. Where the other imps are left to their doom as the yet to be named, I will call, Injustice League of Imps look over their bodies,
Mhm.
uh, including one hooded figure that we can't really tell who it is. At least I think it's a hooded, cloaked figure.
Mm.
But yeah, that's to be continued. Batman Superman World's Finest number 25.
Ooh, fun
So that's
times.
that's a little tease as to a story upcoming. Then we get
Mhm.
a story from Metamorpho, The Ties That Bind, written by Dennis Culver, from art by Travis Mercer, colors from Andrew Delhouse, and letters from Steve Wands. This picks up after the adventures in what was it, issue 17? That
Yeah, yeah.
Metamorpho story with New Mazo and the leg. So it picks up right where that left off.
Mhm.
Metamorpho is back with Simon Stagg and the rest of the team there. Um, and he's tasking Metamorpho with heading into a volcano in Markovia, which is recently starting to erupt, but was able to unearth an ancient Gallo-Roman temple thought to hold the fabled hammer of Vulcan.
Mhm.
So that is Metamorpho's task here, since his abilities are best suited to enter a volcano and deal with the toxic effects of the heat and the gas. And while he does that, he reminisces on his own father, Montana Mason, an explorer of his own rights, but an explorer who only cares about the work and none of the fame and fortune, which Rex figured, why can't you have it all? So as Rex is making his way through the temple, finds that some of the traps they're in were already activated, and finds in the inner temple, the inner chamber where the hammer of Vulcan rests, a person in a giant metal suit, protecting themselves from all the poisonous effects of the volcano. Um, Metamorpho interrupts them and shatters the glass to find that it is none other than his own father, Montana Mason. He uses his powers to make the gas a little more breathable, and they have a little talk back and forth about who's really going to take the hammer. We then see Rex back on the surface, heading back to Simon Stagg without the hammer, and says that it was lost to the lava, meaning his father was able to take it away, and hopefully that repaired some of their broken relationship. That's where that story ends. No teases for anything else, just an interesting little metamorpho story. We then get Sting Like a Bee featuring Bumblebee, written by Stephanie Williams with art from Rosie Camp. Colors from Jordi Belair and letters from Steve Wands. This is very simple. This is a pre-Bumblebee story before World's Finest Teen Titans. She's working in her mom's shop where they keep getting a lot of business because the local Walmart, if you will, called, I'm trying to look for the name, Buckland Mart, just has a whole bunch of shoddy workmanship, and basically everything that's bought there is a piece of crap, and their shop is the ones that get to fix it. They want the community to be able to do something about Buckland Mart, but there's nothing that can be done because no evidence can be proven against them. So she decides to take matters into her own hands, gets some stealth gear on, breaks into Buckland Mart warehouse, and finds that there's a whole bunch of shady shit going on, and that they're basically installing spyware in the computers, and stuff bursts into flame. And that's when she uses her little buzzy bot, sorry, which is a Bumblebee cam. She's able to get all the information she can. She is found out in the vents, and as she's trying to escape, uses the wings in her backpack to fly off to safety, and gives the information she found to a friend who works at a local news station, and that's able to get the scoop on Buckland Mart and bring them to justice. And that was her first time in the Bumblebee suit, if you will, even though she wasn't really wearing the costume, she just had the wings. But that's how Bumblebee got her start. And then finally, in a story called Time Check, we have The Challengers of the Unknown. This is written by Christopher Cantwell with art from Jorge Fornes, colors from Lee Loffridge, and letters from Steve Wands. Bear with me, this one's a bit of a mind trip. We open with the origin of the Challengers, and then jump to some undisclosed time in the future where the Challengers have increased their size to 5 members, 6 if you include the big robot, whose name escapes me right now. But they are being left to open a door. I think this takes place during the story that they were involved in World's Finest, because they had to enter some weird dimension and save the professor whose name escapes me. I don't even remember what the story was about, to be honest with you. Like the story they were in, do you remember? That had to do with Neza?
Was it? I don't remember. Were the Challengers in the?
They were in one of the stories. I just don't remember which one.
Yeah, I don't remember that at
but
all.
They were saving Dr. Elias from some like Lovecraftian horror,
right.
which is really fucking weird in some other dimension. Ultivac was the robot. On the way out, they were needed to defuse some collider, and the only one that was able to stay behind and basically save the day was June, who got caught in the blast and left behind in the other dimension. The other Challengers were able to make it out, but June was left behind. And later on, June arrives back at Challengers Mountain, safe and sound, and then reveals that while she didn't really understand what they were going through before, she woke up on the same mountain where their adventure started, and experiencing what she just did, she finally understands everything. That's the end of the story. It's a bit of a trip, but it's Challengers. It made me want more. And it was when I read that story. I don't know if you saw the message I posted on Discord as well. I said, I got a question. Why has there never been a Challengers of the Unknown movie? Animated or live action?
I saw that and I was like, seems like a weird question, but all right.
It's because I finished that story and I'm like, this shit writes itself, man. Like, you could just jump in right in the middle of them being the Challengers, have like a brief interlude of their origin, and just the mysteriousness of the Challengers is the best part. And their adventures that go around the world doing what others cannot. and saving the day, stopping the unknown.
Mhm.
Like it's the perfect adventure movie. I don't know why
Yeah,
it's
that's a
never
hell of
been
a
done.
pitch.
You know, it's
Yeah.
never been done. I don't get it. I wish it was. But fuck. At the end of the day, Christopher Cantwell wrote a good story,
Yeah.
The Challengers, and I want more.
Yeah.
The art was quite good throughout. I really enjoyed all four of these stories.
Mhm.
The ones with Metamorpho and Bumblebee seemed ultimately not necessary,
Mhm.
but they were good for what they were. Challengers was also unnecessary, but it was Challengers, and I love the Challengers. It was fucking
Mhm.
badass. Um, and the story with the imps and the fifth dimension that obviously has machinations for the future, so we'll see where that goes. But throughout all four stories, I kind of enjoyed this annual. It was quite good.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 8.25 out of 10.
That's awesome. I don't know. I'm regretting that I didn't get a chance to read this one because it sounds like
Yeah,
all the stories are interesting at least.
they were actually quite
Yeah,
interesting.
and I was not expecting the Challenger story. I thought
Yeah,
it was just going to be kind of like a fun collection of stories featuring Batman and Superman, but not the rest of the cast. So
no,
that's awesome.
they were not in it at all.
Wow. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love it.
it's less of like a Batman Superman World's Finest annual and more just like a World's Finest annual.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, because it features a whole bunch of characters that were already in World's Finest.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that is our books for the week. You want to rhyme off your top 3 and favorite moment if you had one?
Whew, all right. Well, in third place, I have none other than full
Considering you read
disclosure.
2 books.
Considering I read 2 books, yeah, full disclosure, I did not put together my top 3, so I'm going to be doing this a little
That's fine.
impromptu.
That's fine.
Um,
I can go
but
first if you
no,
want.
no, it's okay. At number 3, I had Alan Scott, The Green Lantern. Number 4, just another
Right
great
on.
issue. Number 2, Batman Off-World. Number 3, still just like my favorite series coming out right now.
Yeah.
But number 1, I had to give to Batman and Robin, the Batman and Robin Annual 2024, which, again, aside from being my favorite issue of this week, definitely had one of my favorite moments of this week, which was just that whole car sequence at the beginning of the issue was just like something right out of a classic father and son comedy, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, are we there yet? So yeah, no, that was my top 3 for this week.
All right. My top 3. Did you? Oh, sorry. Did you have a favorite moment?
That was my favorite moment.
Oh yeah, sorry, you did just say
Mhm.
it. Wow. Yeah, my top 3 is much the same, just in a different order. For me, Batman
Mhm.
Robin Annual 2024 is number 3.
Mhm.
And then 1 and 2 are kind of interchangeable. I can't really decide which one I like more, but I'll put
Mhm.
Batman Offworld number 3 at number 2, and then Alan Scott the Green Lantern number 4 at number 1. At least for now. But they were both really good this week, so I really couldn't decide which one deserved the top spot more. But I just really
Mhm.
enjoyed the Red Lantern origin a lot. I
Yeah,
thought
no,
it
that's
was really well done.
it was-
Yeah. And favorite moment for me, I kind of have 2.
Mhm.
Obviously the imp moments that I posted on Discord with the green imp,
No, it's
but
priceless.
also from Batman and Robin Annual, just them just sitting by the fire as they listen to all the hunters get stuck in
Yeah.
traps.
Oh, it was what a great way to bond between father and
Yeah,
son.
yeah. Oh, there he goes, caught in that bear trap. I learned that from this person, you know.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, folks, thank you for joining us. Sorry for the little blip in the middle there, but shit happens. Technical
Mhm.
difficulties will happen, but we were able to finish off the show for you, Josh. When you listen to this, our hearts are thinking about you, man.
Seriously,
So
man. I just
hopefully you're
hope you pull
okay.
through and
Yeah,
let us know, when you get to the other side of it.
yeah, definitely. So with that, we got to get out of here. So you have to as well. As always, we are. That's not how it goes. Yeah. So fuck. How the fuck does it?
You
We have to
you
go.
had it last
I
time. Now
had
you
it,
just gotta
and I
believe in
can't
yourself.
remember the beginning. It's like when I sing a song, or like you get the tune, but you can't remember the lyrics because you don't remember the first line. And it's like you remember the third line, but you know that's not how it starts.
When we get to the end, you just gotta psych yourself up and be like, okay, I know this, I got this.
I do, but like my memory sucks. All right. Once again, we have to get out of here, so you have to as well. Remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone. Peace.
Nailed it.